Okay, so welcome team. Today's session 10 of Agentic AI. So we have covered yesterday. So we covered a couple of few frameworks. We covered LangChain, Agno, and yesterday we looked at Crew AI framework to build the Agentic AI. So today we'll be going back to no-code platforms like LangFlow. So we have already explored this earlier for RAG. I hope you remember where we built RAG with LangFlow and the AstraDB, right? As vector database, we built the RAG. So we come back here and then we'll go and see how we build Agentic AI on this LangFlow platform, and also see how other platforms are enabling the same thing. Okay. So as I was mentioning, we will not build the complete use cases in this session, but we will just explore the platforms. Of course, we will explore all of this in our projects, pick a platform and then execute end-to-end use case or project and build products. Okay. So what we have here, LangFlow, like we talked about, right? Let me close this. Okay, so we have seen LangFlow, right? Data stacks LangFlow earlier. We have built this. Okay, now we can just go here and build the new flows basically for the agents as well. So when you click new flow, we said we have already 3 templates. One is just the basic prompting to talk to AI model. Another is a vector store RAG. So this is the RAG template, and this is a simple agent template we looked at, right? So if you click on simple agent, it give you this basic structure to start with, right? And then we have here different, so this is the agent we have seen here. This is the agent, and then we have, like, for each agent you have how many three components we looked at, right? Memory, tools, and model. So if you see here, as soon as you say this is an agent, you will have a model provider. You can select any of the model provider. Once you have the model provider, you can select any model from that provider. Okay, and then any key to connect to that model, just like we are doing the OpenAI API key. Then you give all of your agent instructions, just like your backstory or context or anything, system instructions you give here. So tools, of course, then the tools comes here. So you connect each of the tools from the tool set to the tools, and you connect. If there is a input, you directly connect input here, and then response to the output. This is a simple single agent. Now for tools, if you see here, this is in URL, this is calculator. These are 2 different tools we have here. And then if you can see here, you have a tool mode. So if you switch off this, it will no longer be a tool that you can use. If you say tool mode, it becomes a tool set, which of course you can go and connect to your agent as a tool, one of the tool to be used by the agent. Right? So this is the 2 different tools, and the agent will be able to differentiate based on the problem you are solving, what tool you want to use. And on the left panel, if you see, I think we explored earlier this as well. You have chat. Once you have input, you can only have one input and one output type within the flow. So since you have used chat input already, you cannot, chat input is already added. Okay. And chat output is also already added. So maybe you want multiple outputs here. Webhook can be added. There are data sources where you can add. So URL we have added already. So this is the one. So you can go and fetch from the URL as a data source. SQL database you can add. API request you can add. Then you have models and agents. So model is if you want to add LLM model, a prompt template, embedding model, MCP tools, message history, LLM operations, and right files. Sorry, so these are different ones, LLM operations. So if you see here, this is the agent. You just click, and then you can drag and drop and put on the canvas, and then you can proceed with all of the same thing that we talked about in the agent. Is the agent mode. Okay. Then we have various. It's basically just like what we built, right? So you keep on adding agents and then keep adding the tools to the agents and connect the agents to each other. Yeah. Now, so go back to this. I will just go back here. Uh, this. Okay. So this is the agent earlier I had. So I am using OpenAI API key here. And then we have model everything. So if I want to just go and check in the playground, second, go back here. So if we go back to the agent, and then I just give one, say, URL to this. So the agent needs to understand. It's still coming to the. Let me check what's happening with this. Okay. So when I give this URL to get the resources about, I didn't give any specific instructions, but then it has gone to the website, scrape the website or read the website, and it came back with the required output, all whatever is there on the website to read. But if you look at what does the tool call, or what is the the tool the agent has used, you can see here it generated a URL from just this one. So Burak Consulting Services, and then it has received output as a JSON from the tool. Okay, so description, content type, language, title, and all of that. So this is just the structure, and then it has the content here, whatever we have got text. So that is what it has. The text, whatever it has received in the JSON format, it has formatted beautifully in the output. So automatically that it's using that tool, the URL tool, based on the input that we have provided, right? Now, if I just give it a math problem like this, what is the value of this, right? One, it can answer from its own knowledge, or it can use the calculator tool. So if you see here, it has converted that into an expression, 5 factorial star 5. Invalid syntax. It's not able to parse this. Okay. Then it changed it, calculated 5 factorial to 120 and then multiplied by 5. Then it got result as 600. So this is, we're not sure if it keeps calculating that, evaluating the expression to this 600 step by step. So this is how you can keep adding tools to the platform, right? To the Agentic AI platform and build from one to the other. Okay. So am I clear? Any questions? Are you guys still here? It's very silent. Right?
Yeah, hi Arun, this side Prem.
Hey, Pawan. Hi, Satya. Yeah, Prem.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, so just to understand, like, what's the difference between these tools and input? In the tools, we have selected URL, calculator, and Yahoo Finance, and in the input, you have taken the chart input.
Input is basically your entry to call the application. So when you say playground here for testing, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
whatever you are giving here, this text box, this is your input, chat input
yeah.
that goes to the agent. Okay. Whereas all of these are tools that the agent can use.
Okay,
Okay. And the output is what? It is displayed in the chat output.
okay,
Okay. So this is the basic structure. And then you can keep adding and building multiple agents as well to this. Okay. Then let's say I will just go and add another agent here. Okay. Let's see.
One question, so whatever we are building here, so this one need Astra only for deployment, I mean for production ready, or we can deploy it any other environment or any other server?
You mean you said Astra?
Yeah, this one. So whatever workflow
Okay.
or this
No,
thing
there
we
are
build.
there are different ways of deployment, right? So one, yes, you can directly deploy this on the LangFlow or Astra Cloud and then expose it through an endpoint. So you can just go here and see what is your API access, right? So you can embed this code wherever you want to call this workflow
Yeah.
or wherever you want to call this agent. Yeah, like we did when we did the RAG.
Main
And then,
application.
yeah, application, like an application. Yeah, yes. This is on the LangFlow cloud. Or you can export it and then build or embed into any of your own applications altogether. So we have not looked at that, but as of now, yes. So you can just deploy this on this cloud, LangFlow cloud. This is already. and then access it from anywhere using the API.
Okay.
So 4.0 mini we have here. And then just say, I want to send the input to this agent from here. Press the output. And then I will say, summarize in 2 to 3 breakpoints. Okay. Just say 4 to 5 bullet points. And professional, whatever, just can give this. So I'm not adding any tools, it's just the model here, like the agent. And then if you go and say, give just any website URL, let's say I want to go amazon.com. So it immediately gets a concise overview. Once you get that, output from GPT-4o mini. Okay, so this is what it is using, but we want to get, so this is the model that it is used to get the review concise menu.
Now, one more thing, I'm seeing only model provider is very limited for this one, right?
Model
In model.
providers, yeah. No, we have Anthropic, we have Google, we have OpenAI, we have IBM, we have Olama. Yeah.
Okay.
And you see here, you can also connect to other models. So here, see here, all the bundles. You can see Amazon, Anthropic, Azure, Baidu, Cohere, Comet, DeepSeek, Grok. As far as I have seen from the platforms, this is most extensive that it supports from the no-code language perspective. NVIDIA, Olama, OpenAI, Perplexity. So there are so many bundles that you can add and use here.
All right. Thank you.
You can customize, you can add. Okay, so that's basically I wanted to show you the platforms, how to export. The same thing, how each provider is implementing. Basically, it's the same thing. Same agent, set of tools, models, you keep connecting the workflow. Okay. Now deployment, yes, we will talk about next week when we build an application and then deploy it. So we'll take next week for building apps and deploying it in the cloud or locally, how you test UI, fast API, and all of that we'll use next week. So that's why we are just trying to explore different platforms. So this is one. Now, when you go to say Bedrock, okay, Amazon Bedrock is one platform, right? And then, so I have gone in here and going into Amazon Bedrock. So if you go to Bedrock here, there's a new one called Agent Core that they have started newly. To be very frank, so it's not very intuitive. It doesn't have a start and end. It has just like few things like you can build in gateways, runtime, test sandbox, observability, evaluations, and all that trying to build a browser for a code interpreter and all of that. But there's no space where you can start just like, this intuitive, just go and start building your flow and deploy, right? So I didn't see that in the new one that is called Agent Core. Of course, AWS has so many other things. It has a SageMaker, it has Bedrock, and now it is coming into Agent Core. So if you go to, say, let's say Bedrock here, if you click on go to Bedrock, originally this is what we used to build RAG applications and the Agentic AI as well. So here you have model catalog. If you remember, we went in the first session we had when we talked about AI models from each vendor provider, what are the models and how you can use models on each of the platforms. So we looked at this, like Google has model garden. So we'll go there and see that as well. Bedrock also has this model catalog, about 270. So you can see the collections here, what you can use. There are serverless marketplace. These are all the providers that AWS supports, Bedrock supports. So you can select any of this, and then you can see the models here that you can use. So these are all the models that you can use. Okay. Grounding is one concept that Google has brought in, where your RAG or your agentic AI is connected to your knowledge base to cross-check, verify if whatever output the model is giving is as per the knowledge base or the source truth you have. It's like a cross-check against a knowledge base or against a set of documents that you have. Say, for example, you're building a RAG for customer support from the set of your documents. You ask some question, and then from the vector database, you got something, model gave you a response. So to evaluate the response, make sure it does not hallucinate, you kind of connect it back to grounding. It's connected back to your knowledge store so that it verifies with the existing documentation on your site to make sure there is nothing that is missing or that is not there in the knowledge base, but the model is making up for like hallucination to reduce the hallucinations. So that Google has, that's very important topic, like one of the topics that I was looking at for the certification I did earlier and for the Google. So grounding, how does grounding help reduce the hallucinations? So same thing, Amazon also came up with some tool called Nova Grounding, but that's fine. So modality, you can see audio, embedding, image, multimodal, speech, tabular, text vision, video. Like so, basically, yesterday also I was talking about some use cases. One is the chatbot that's text-based, so we don't need any other thing. But there was another one where we were talking about comparing two images and figuring out in two versions what has changed in the second version for some industry-specific circuit diagrams, right? So there you might try to explore image or vision, image vision kind of models that we should use more specific to that. But here, when you see these providers, right, you can select and see what are all the models that you can use here. But before being able to use that, you have to go and enable it in the catalog for you to use. Okay. Select it from the model catalog, and then you can go ahead and use that. So Amazon has this, all of these models. So you can go and check in the playground. The playground is just like, chat GPT kind of chatbot. Just you type in some message. This model is used to answer your questions. Okay. So these all the providers and these are all the models that you can use within the Bedrock to build any of your applications, either RAG or Agentic or whatever. So you have this here, chat, text playground. So this is where, again, you can select this chat, you can select model, which model you want to use. And then you can use these parameters we talked about. How many, what is the maximum output tokens, what is the stop sequence, temperature, top P. Guardrails is something we'll talk about. We don't have it here. Towards the end, we will also cover this topic, how guardrails help you to scan input output for security purpose. Now you can also do compare, where you can select two models, okay, and then say, ask a question. Let's need something that I don't want. Let's say DeepSeek. Okay, so now you have two models, Jamba 1.5 and DeepSeek R1. So you ask a question, it's going to ask the same question to both the models, get the response, so that you can compare which model is performing better, which is part of evaluation process for your models that Bedrock provides. Why I'm showing this here is, whatever you see on a platform like this, more or less all the platforms implement same kind of features. If you go to Google, you will also find the similar thing. If you go to Azure, you will find mostly the similar kind of things. It might not be same, it may not be as intuitive, different ways, but if you just play around, look around, you will find the same features. Right? I'm not going to run this because whatever you run on the Bedrock is charged to my account. Okay, but yeah, that's what it does. Now, so you can do image, video, playground, same like image models. You can do image generation. You can ask, select a model, type an image generator, and then you can give a prompt to generate an image, generate variations, replace background, all of these. You can try, add a prompt here, and then use any of the image or video models that are available to play around with this. Now, inference is just basically how you want to use a model, cross region and batch, provision, custom model, all of the different options available to build, to use the models, right? And you can do custom models, all of that. But basically here is your build. Okay. So when you build the RAG architecture, when we built in LangFlow, we built RAG architecture. We had the source data that is built in the Astra DB, vector as a vector database. And then we uploaded the documents and we built it. Here, the same vector database and all of that is called a knowledge base. So first thing, your store against which you want to build the RAG, where you want to look at, is called the knowledge base. So within the knowledge base, what you do is your documents, you can have somewhere in the S3 or wherever it is, you can go and look at that. So this is called a vector store, knowledge base, or a structured data store, or Kendra GenAI index. So you build that knowledge base and then you add it to the flows. Flows is where you build your workflow, basically, like RAG or agent or whatever. So you have a flow name, you just go and say create flow. You get same kind of, see here, drag and drop, just like this canvas, right? You get the same thing in the flows here. Where did it go? In the Bedrock. Yeah. So this is the flow. You have flow input, again, the prompt and flow output. So on the left, you can see what you can use nodes to configure condition, loop, iterator. So these are a few things that you can use. You can use agents, you can use prompts. So knowledge base S3 is what you will use, and this is the flow output. So knowledge base is basically your vector store. You build all of the vector store, and then you build a index out of it and then run it. And then you can also have agents here. So if you click prompts, right? If you go here, configure this prompt, define a node. See here, actually, you can select the model, which model you want to use. So let's say I want to use Nova 2 Lite. Here, guardrail is optional. Then there's a message. So write a paragraph about topic. So this is how yesterday we looked at in the Crew AI, right? How you pass a topic as a variable. So here, this is the format for sending in the variable for the Bedrock any workflows. Caching, input, output, all of their model completion. Output is done by the model completion. So this is the simple, you are adding model to this flow within the prompt itself. Then you can just save it and go here and test your workflow, right? And if we go here, same way, you can also add your agents. So you can drag and drop an agent and then configure here. Whatever agents you have created, you can just use that sample agent, whatever agents you have created, and then use it in your workflow. Now, where do you actually create this agent is, if you see here, you go to agents, it gives you a canvas where you can build your agents. So basically it comes back here where you build first the agent, then you use it in the flow. These are individual components. First you build a knowledge base and you build an agent, and then you can use all of that to build the workflow. In the flow, you can use those agents. So if we go here, there's a simple agent that created, and then status is prepared. There's nothing special that it is using, just a sample user. So you can edit in agent builder. This is a model that it is using. Travel booking agent. So you can say book flight enabled. That's it. Multi-agent collaboration. I'm still not able to figure out how to add. You're adding tools here to the agents. Basically, I think, yeah, it's in the flows. You go and provide, you drag and drop this agent, and then you can go back and add your tools to the agents, connect your tools to the agent here. Okay. So this is how the framework looks like if you want to go and build a agentic workflow in the Bedrock, AWS Amazon Bedrock. As I said, this is the new platform that's recently added, Agent Core. But yeah, it's still time for it to be GA available, be intuitive kind of a thing. They just keep bunch of things, throw it together and put it something new. That's it. Okay. Now, the same thing. Any questions here? I know we are not doing the demo complete end-to-end execution. I'm just showing you some of the, it's like a tour of platforms, how you can do the same thing, how they are implemented in different platforms. So we can still talk about it. Any questions?
I mean, one question from like organization point of view, like how to choose like which one to go with. Uh,
Platform?
yes, so like we should go with this Astra, LangFlow, or Bedrock, or any other provider.
Yeah. So it is simple for POC purposes. Let's say you don't have any of these platforms, or you are a small team within the organization. Of course, the organization has very some cloud everybody has. Like you have Azure or something you have, but you are part of a small team. You want to do some use cases within your team to do some AI, right? So you don't immediately go and ask the Azure resources or the cloud resources to do your POCs and run something. So you have to start small for the POC. You do all open source platforms, like you do LangChain or use LangGraph or use Crew AI for agents or Agno, these kind of things. You just build a Python, use open source library project. You just import the libraries and build something. And you have some databases, SQL Server or Snowflake, whatever. You create your own Python-based tools and connect to it. Your org may not also give you access directly to use models outside. You cannot directly connect to OpenAI or DeepSeek or whatever. So what are the approved AI platforms, AI models? Say if you have Azure, it might be Azure OpenAI, okay? Or they might have, organization might have subscribed for Anthropic models. So they give you some internal endpoints to connect to the models, not directly to Anthropic, but through a endpoint, firewall, or hosted endpoint where you are authenticated and then the model is deployed within your network. So use that model, and using these libraries, you build the POC. Okay. Now, once that POC is done, and then you see value in it, and then you want to scale it to production, that's when you have to shift your platforms. You can still go ahead. I mean, if it is not very huge, if your use case is using small data, less than 10,000 records or 100,000 records from the database, you don't have any connection to outside web sources for your use case, you can still continue using the same thing. Let's say you said Azure, right? So you build the project and use a CI/CD pipeline to create an Azure function, and then deploy it on the Azure function and expose it using the endpoint. So every time you want to access that, you just go use that Azure endpoint, so Azure function endpoint to execute the function. Or another option is web app, Azure web app. You can deploy it as a container uh, on the web app and then use that. No, I'm saying this because you have the Azure. Let's say your organization is AWS shop. So you have Bedrock. So use Bedrock and hosted models there, or whatever is approved for you. Even Bedrock, though there are 270 whatever models, I'm sure your org will not have access. No org will give access to all the models. They choose from either AWS own or say Anthropic or Cohere, one of these models. Or if your organization say is very specific dealing with images or videos, then they might have enabled the image or video models for you to use. So then the logical way is to use the Bedrock or Agent Core or SageMaker, whatever, to build the apps. Now, if you're a Google shop, obviously you look at Vertex AI, which is already available. So the choice most of the times is limited or availability based on your The choice is available based on what are the options that you have as an organization. Now the scaling will go on. So if you have Google Cloud, so you build an app, that's the architecture we will also apply for our products or projects that we are building. Yeah, I know after an hour Zoom video gets a kind of some issues with it. When you build a product, we'll also use the same architecture of building the application and then wrapping it up in, say, containers, right? Docker container, and deploying it to Cloud Run, Google Cloud Run, which it can scale. Cloud Run can automatically scale based on the number of requests you get. Now you have to see how much it's going to charge, for each number of users. So one is the inference cost, the model it's charging based on number of tokens, plus your Cloud Run container to run the container based on number of requests that you get. So these are the operational costs that you should see when you are deploying. So as I said, when we do the product or the project, we will make sure we use these components and explore how we deploy and run this in the architecture. But these are all the different factors. Now, this is only when you are looking at productionizing the use cases. But once you get it, at each component, you have some decisions to make. Whether you are using vector database, you have decisions to make. Your embedding model, you have decisions to make. Your dimensionality, you have decisions. Your chunking strategy, you have decisions to make. So at your agentic AI, what are the tools you want to use? You have decisions to make. So at each component, you have to make some informed decisions about what is allowed, what you can use, and within that, you have to choose what you want to do. So like, say, for example, just for the search tool, there are a lot. There is a Serper API, there is Tavili search, there is Perplexity, there is Google search, there is Wiki search, all of this. So which one you would use? Which one you can use? Some of them are free, some of them are charged again. So it's all like use case to use case basis, what gives you a best response. That's why you do a lot of POCs when you run this, design this architecture. Right?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yes, yeah, I got it.
Don't seem convinced. Satya?
That one I got it.
Yeah.
My question was like more about let's see, like getting into this AI kind of industry. So I have background in like programming, even the cloud DB and all. So, but never worked on actual on AI project. So get into the AI project. So let's say in case of cloud, if I am a AWS expert, so I only look for the AWS project related project, right? Now it's all
Yes.
cloud,
Yes.
AWS, GCP, and Azure. So
Yes.
do we have something like into AI also? Like if I know like long chain or LangFlow, so I only work into the LangFlow. Like I'll be the LangFlow expert, not the Bedrock expert. So
No, that's what I'm saying, right? That's why this specific training is the platform agnostic. What we are learning here is the foundation. What is an agent and how do you, that's why this session specifically I'm showing you how an agent can be built in different platforms. So you are a Bedrock expert, somebody else, you are an AWS cloud guy, somebody else might be Azure guy, right? So if I just say building AI with Bedrock, that is only useful for people who are on AWS. If you move tomorrow to another company who's using Google GCP or another company who's using Azure, then you are lost. So what we do is what we have done so far. If you see, we just used open source like LangChain, Agno. These are open libraries where you can build apps on any platform. The second level is platform specific. Yes, now you have AWS. Use that knowledge to build the apps on the AWS Bedrock. Somebody else has GCP. Use the same knowledge to build the agents on the Google Cloud. And then you deploy on your respective clouds. Now, somebody who doesn't have any cloud, they want to build, they can just build on LangFlow, IBM DataStax Cloud, using Astra database, or using even vector database also. You can use outside VB8, Pinecone, and then integrate into your application. Or AWS provides indexes, S3 index, Kendra index, just like vector database. You don't need to integrate with any external databases default. Google also has its own vector piece. Databricks has its own vector indexes. So on the platform they provide, you can use whatever platform you're using, you can continue to use that. Right? So if you are AWS, yes, you go ahead, use Bedrock. You don't become a LangFlow expert, or you don't become a LangChain expert. Rather, you use LangFlow is something different, no code platform, forget about it. LangChain or Agno, these libraries, you can use to build applications whenever you need. If you want to just build a Python project and deploy it on AWS Lambda function, you can do that. You can use LangChain, you can use Agno framework, build agents and deploy it, or you can use even the Crew AI project and deploy it on a Lambda function as a Lambda function. So those options are available. Or you can just choose to build on the AWS Bedrock itself. Okay, so that each platform provides you the flexibility to build these RAG or agents. Some might be very easy to use, some might be matured, some may not be. So now we have looked at the Bedrock, right? So the same thing when you come to Google Cloud, which is called Vertex AI. We have seen model catalog here, right? So let's go back and see compare and contrast here. If we go, see here, it's called model catalog in the AWS Bedrock. Now you have all these models here. Now, if you go to Google, it's called Model Garden. Okay. Now, so what does Model Garden do? Same thing. All the models here, Gemini models, Imagine. So these are Google models, foundation models, Gemini. Then partners, Anthropic, Meta, Hugging Face, Mistral, AI2, A21 Labs. All of these are all the partners, models that are hosted that you can use on this platform if you want to build any flows, applications using AI models. Partner models deploy. And then by category, what if it is an image classification, object detection, text classification, these are just filter by any of these features from these models. Specialty, you have Google, Salesforce, Meta, all of these, by provider, by feature. You can select any of this and then say image segmentation. So these are all the models that you can use for image segmentation. Just like you selecting the model catalog in AWS, right? So then you have a Vertex AI Studio. So Vertex AI Studio will enable you to build the same RAG applications that you have built using LangFlow or using any other thing. So here, develop, test, and deploy. It's more like your ChatGPT or your Anthropic Cloud desktop like this. You can build an app from here. Okay. Or you can go agent designer. So there is an agent garden and agent design. Just like model garden, you also have an agent garden, which means they have some predefined or pre-built agents that can do something where you can drag and drop or use off the shelf in your workflows. You can see from data science, RAG, financial advisor, marketing agency. So if you see, this is agent developer kit, ADK from Google, or you can use it in Python. So if you click here, you say you can go to GitHub, and then you get all of these Google agents that you can directly pick off the shelf and use it in your workflows as an agent, marketing agency agent. You can see what it does and all of that here. AI-powered assistant to enhance capabilities, creative agencies, and all of that. Or if you just go agent designer, this is where you build your agentic AI, and then just create agent. This is my agent to help interact with my data, generate a travel plan, including air, hotel, and car rental. So this is my supervisor agent that I just kind of drag and drop, create an agent. And then you can keep adding sub-agents to it if you want to build a multi-agentic AI application. So I added this Airbnb agent. Research provide details for Airbnb for the trip. Then the model is 2.5 Flash, tools, Google search, URL context, and all of this. You can add more tools that are available. It's not available, very limited here. You can use data store, or you can use any MCP servers you have built. You can also integrate that MCP servers here when you are doing the workflow. Similarly, add one more agent, flight agent, provide cheaper options for flights for the trip. Same, I have used the tools. It's very limited. I don't know why they don't have tools available. Just like if you see, it is very intuitive. If you go to LangFlow here, if you see the tools that you can use. Somewhere here we had seen. So there are MCP tools, there are other tools like this that we have seen here, right? Database and somewhere. So all of these options you see here, Tavili is the tool, SERP API, search API, vector databases, Wikipedia. All of these options are not very intuitive here, how to use. So they have some tools here. But this is very limited. So you have to go and add your own tools. Mostly the Google Cloud tools are available here to add. So those kind of things are still not very clear how to get in all of this. But yeah, this is the framework that you can use. We'll go back here. Right? And then say preview. And you can say Planet Web for Hawaii for 2 hours. Next week for 3 days. The total budget is, let's say, just $1,000. Use economy, space, multi island hop provide an itinerary. Options for flight and yeah. Something like this. You can just use and build the travel agent so it gets transferred to the agent and all of that. Flights to Hawaii alone can often exceed that budget. Okay. Given highly recommend long booking window more than a week out. Okay. Yes, just say choose the budget to 5,000 and trip to next month. So it needs more your departure city, specific dates, what are the multi-island, which islands you want to check out, right? So let's say from Dallas, departure Feb 20th, and how my mouth. So it needs more kind of return dates. And confirmation. Traveling for 3 days. Ready. And so it says you cannot do it for 3 days. Okay. Yeah, let's change to 5 days. So basically, yeah. So this is how you can continue adding agents. So what you can do multiple again here is, so you have a Airbnb, right? Now for the Airbnb, there is a MCP server that you can integrate with. So when we talk about MCPs, we will look at Airbnb has an MCP server where you can go and get all the availability of Airbnbs around a particular zone, and it gives you all the links to explore and all of that. For flights, of course, again, you can have a web tool that you can go to flights.com or booking.com, whatever flight search, or Emirates or United Airlines. So you can provide all of those resources for it to go, get the details. So each agent, one hotel, one kind of a flight, and one Airbnb, one car rental. So all of these agents working together. So that's how you can just continue building this on this platform. But as I said, it's not very intuitive how if you have MCP server, you have to put your endpoint where that MCP is located and authentication and all of that. You need to add to this. But these are not a regular day-to-day use cases when you are in organization. You don't build these kind of applications. Mostly you will look at your internal applications, internal data that you need to combine with to come up with an application, mostly agentic RAG, where you use RAG as a tool as part of the agent kind of. So this is where, so it has given you some options of itinerary. It has given proposed 5-day itinerary, departure, here 2 nights, there 2 nights, and all of this. They also added car rentals, estimated trip cost. So when you build your UI, right, so you can add whatever it has asked, these parameters. What is the travel from date to date, number of days, what is the budget, do you need a car rental, all of these options you can ask, and then provide these options for a better itinerary from the agent instead of you interacting with the agent. That's how you build the complete application. All right. So that is, you do for the Google GCP Vertex AI. Same thing you have when you go to Azure AI Foundry as well. I have not shown it here, but Azure also has something called Azure has one AutoGen, and then it has also you need to install this, and then it also has a AI Foundry, Azure AI Foundry, where you can go and build something similar like these agents. Okay. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to cover. Just give you a glimpse of different platforms, how so that you don't get overwhelmed. Any platform, the concepts will be same. It will be the same agent, same tools, same kind of knowledge base, or you need to interact with the tools, add tools, and build application. The same concepts, but the implementation will be different. So it might take just maybe 2-3 days or a week at a max to understand what exactly is available and what we can use to build these applications, because now we understand the platform and the foundation that you have. Right? Questions? Any questions? Hello?
So as a beginner, we should start first open source QI as Agno framework, other LangChain. Then we should will jump to the cloud things, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we started
Yeah.
from actually using what are the models, how do the models work, how do you connect, the RAG architecture, how do you connect the uh, how do you build an agent using Python libraries, using Agno framework, using Crew AI. Then you come into platforms, basically no-code platforms, how you connect drag and drop and all of that. If you directly go there, you won't understand what is an agent, why are you connecting these tools, and why you need to connect tools, where you need to connect tools, and all of that. So that's why we have built it step by step. First we built model, then we built RAG, then we said model with tools, then agent, which has model and tools and memory and all of that, and then multi-agent uh, frameworks, all of that. Now, if you go to any platform, um, most of everything will be same concepts, but the implementation will be different. Like when I talked about the RAG architecture, right? So we have documents, chunking, we build, put embedding model, we put into vector database, and that is our source. And whenever a question is asked, we go and fetch first from the vector data. The same thing when you go to Bedrock, right? It's called knowledge base. So the knowledge base means it will have you can select your data sources. Where is your data, S3 or any external data, whatever it is. You can select embedding models there. You can select your vector database, external or internal. Kendra index, it will build the index there itself and keep it. And then you just go and use that component in your RAG architecture. This is my knowledge base I want to use in this RAG. So that's how it is implemented in Bedrock. Similarly, it will be for Google Vertex AI or for Azure AI Foundry, same things.
Okay. So in LangFlow, we developed no code chain with the AstraDB. There we internally it was using
You don't
Python
need
language.
AstraDB only. AstraDB is just the native. You can choose any vector database.
Any
You don't-
vector database, yeah.
Yeah. So as we have looked at, right, if you see here we have seen components. You have, see, Pinecone. You can use Pinecone as your vector database here. Drag and drop and connect. You don't need to have
Yes.
AstraDB. You can use PG vector. Okay. You can use MongoDB. You can use any of this FileDB, right? We use that. And data stacks is your AstraDB. So same thing, the search tools, DuckDuckGo is there. There are a lot of other, for the search itself, we have DuckDuckGo. So there's a Milvus is another vector database, right? And then you have Perplexity as a tool. You have Search API, you have SERP API, you have Tavili, you have DuckDuckGo, you have Wikipedia. All of this, Yahoo Finance, all of these tools you can use. And then VV8 is another vector database we talked about. You can use this as well. Milvus is another vector database you can use. So a lot of options are there. You don't need to stick to AstraDB. AstraDB we used because only it is native. It's from the same company, same platform built into it. So it has direct internal connectivity to that. Yes, Girish.
So Aruna, maybe this is a very dumb question, no, but I will still go ahead and ask.
Yeah,
So the models and vector databases are very tightly connected, right?
no.
So the model, the vector database has to save the data in a certain format. Otherwise,
So
there is
you're
no
talking
difference.
about the embedding models.
Embedding models, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
so why is that we see like you have I mean technically these models like OpenAIs or Crew AIs these are the ones that who have the large language models, right? They're the ones should have they should also come up, they should have their own vector database, so that they can work very well with each other, right? But I see Vertex, I see a different databases altogether, like a different company supplying a database and a different another company supplying model. I know, companies like Amazon, maybe they have, both of them together.
Yeah. So it's not just model, it's embedding models first thing. And second thing is vector database is not coupled to the embedding model. It is coupled to the dimension. All you need is just the dimensions. They don't care about which model it is generating data. Okay. So you can choose to switch any other model tomorrow. You can choose to switch the dimensions tomorrow, but you can still use the same vector database to update or create new collection and then add to it. So that's why they are loosely coupled. So these vector databases are like specialized products, just like your RDBMS, like Oracle, SQL Server, right? You have a lot of applications that are integrated and using these databases. But that doesn't mean that applications itself have their own databases created, right? So there are some specific 4 or 5 popular RDBMS SQL databases. There are some popular 4 or 5 NoSQL databases. right? Same thing. There are 4 or 5 popular vector databases that you can use in any of the applications to make it generic. Within your application, you choose what you want to use, embedding models based on your use case or based on the dimensions. If you want to go that route, so every vendor that is providing models, they have to have their own vector database, they have to have their own agentic framework, they have to have no-code framework and all of that. So that's not possible. That's why it's like open source. You can integrate with anything. You're not locked down to one vendor or preferred vendor kind of.
Yeah, no, I was actually comparing the the exist or previous architecture which you just said RDMS and the applications where it was different. I mean, it was independent. But with AI, I was thinking it is much more closely associated, right? It is much more integrated.
It's the other way. It's rather should be much more open source. You should be free to pick and choose like your buffet, right? Make
Right.
your own salad. You
Yeah.
pick and choose what components you need and make your own salad kind of a thing. You're not tied down to any platform. That's what everybody's trying to do. Like all products, they have their own agentic platform. You can build agents on their own platform. Like Salesforce, you have something called Agent Force. You can build agents on their own platform
Yeah.
just to integrate within the Salesforce. Same thing, I think you are
SAP.
right? SAP,
Yeah.
you have your own platform. You can build agents, but they only
Right.
look into your own data, your own platform, your own modules, like proprietary kind of thing. Everybody's
Yeah.
creating own agents specialized or specific to their platform. But other than that, yeah, open source, yes, you can build and connect to anything.
They're model agnostic and also database agnostic.
Yeah, that's how it is, right? Every
Yeah.
even whatever agent you build, they're all agnostic only. So all you need is you just switch the tool, whichever database you want to connect to. You just need the endpoints and authentication. There's nothing, dependency on the databases.
Yeah, my concern is like, tomorrow these databases, they can close the shop anytime, like unless until you have a bigger company.
Yeah. That are always there, right? That's why when you choose for production
Yeah.
use cases, you will look at all of this. You don't go to a small shop if you are a big corporation, right? If you use VV8 or Milvus, they are specialized vector databases that you can use. But if your data is very critical and you feel that in the long term you need them to survive or provide support, or if they go out of business, you will be left in the dark, then you use whichever is there on your own platform. Like AWS has indexes, but is extremely expensive to use those. They keep running the indexes, they keep running GPUs that you pay for, and all of that. So it's very expensive. But yeah, if you are a big organization, you don't care about dollars. You want stability and long-term support and those kind. It's a set based on your requirements. You can choose, right? So if you're a small one, your vector database, you have very small amount of data that you want to store. Very small, you don't need vector database. You can use in-memory 5 TB, something like that. Or medium size, you have some data, but not very critical, crucial, or very huge billions of records. You can go for any of these vector databases, and tomorrow you can easily migrate it out to another database or something like that. So these are your evaluation parameters when you choose any of these. You want to take any vector database. Okay. All right, so I think that's what we have here. We got an exposure to most of the platform, how to build agents or AI in any of these platforms. If you are working on any of this specifically, you can go ahead and start exploring, going deeper into that platform and building applications. So, and then we can support you, guide you there. All right. So with that, we wrap up the session for today. Next week, we will talk about deployment, and then observability is another thing. So I will make sure how we are proceeding. So observability is like tracing, monitoring, evaluating these LLM models and applications with a couple of tools, LangWatch and LangSmith, that we will do. And we'll also look at deployment use cases. How would you deploy this using Fast API, UI and local to test, or deploy to cloud kind. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate if you have any questions, ping me offline. We can talk.
Thanks, Arun. Bye.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Take care. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.